anyways, welcome back to Rasan's ASMR journey. I'm Rasan and I'll be doing the journey. And today I would like to come at you with 50 facts about classic 3D movies. Sorry, somebody's having a time out there. Anyway, I would like to come at you with 50 facts about classic 3D movies because I was thinking about how fascinated I've always been with just how different classic 3D is versus the 3D that we have today, and how technology has come amazingly far. And so I wanted to come at you with these 50 classic 3D movie facts. Let's get right into them. Number one, first use of 3D. The first known 3D film was The Power of Love in 1922, using a two-projector system. Number two, Anaglaphy 3D. Early 3D films often used the anaglaphy, and I know I'm not saying that right. Anaglyph. That's it. Anaglyph 3D. Early 3D films often used the anaglyph method, where viewers wore red and blue glasses to create a 3D effect. Number three, the first 3D color film. The Power of Love was also the first color 3D film, making it a trailblazer in many ways. Number four, the 1950s boom. 3D films gained widespread popularity in the 1950s as Hollywood looked for ways to compete with television. Number five, House of Wax, 1953. This was one of the first major 3D films to be a box office hit, starring Vincent Price. I love the House of Wax. Number six, 3D process evolution. The two-projector process was used in early 3D films, but later 3D was achieved by polarized light using special glasses. Number seven, stereo vision. By the late 1950s, the most common 3D format was the polarized method, which allowed for better quality and less color distortion. Sorry everyone, I had to take a dog bark break there. That was a little too much. Okay. Number eight, Buona Devil, 1952. This film is created as the first full-length color 3D film, making a significant milestone in cinema. Number nine, 3D and the decline of interest. By the late 1950s and early 60s, the novelty of 3D films wore off and they saw a sharp decline in popularity. Number 10, The Bubble, 1966. This was one of the last major 3D films until the format was revived again in the 1980s. Number 11, 3D in the 1980s. In 1983, films like Friday the 13th Part 3 brought 3D back briefly, though it didn't last long. Number 12, technological innovations. 3D technologically used in old films relied on simultaneous dual images projected through different lenses, with viewers wearing corresponding glasses. Number 13, Dial M for Murder, 1954. Directed by Alfred Hitchcock, this was a 3D film shot using the anamorphic process, although it wasn't originally designed for 3D. Number 14, limited viewing. Early 3D films were only shown in select 3D theaters, meaning audiences had limited access. Number 15, It Came from Outer Space, 1953. This was one of the first science fiction films to be made in 3D. Number 16, 3D was a gimmick. dance scenes rather than as a key part of storytelling. Number 17, Creature from the Black Lagoon, 1954. This monster movie was shot in 3D and is considered one of the best 3D films of the 1950s. Number 18, stereoscopic cameras. The first 3D films used specially designed stereoscopic cameras to capture two images simultaneously. Number 19, Jaws 3D, 1983. This was a notable example of 3D technology used in the 1980s, albeit the technology was still less advanced than today's standards. Well, definitely that's true. Number 20, temporary trend. 3D films were often short-lived trends, peaking in certain decades before falling out of favor. That's true. Number 21, audience reaction. Early audiences were fascinated by the novelty of 3D, with some reports indicating people ducking when objects appear to come towards them. Sorry, another park break there, guys. Number 22, color versus black and white. Wow, many other early. Sorry, guys. It is just noisy this evening. Let's try that again. Number 22, color versus black and white. While many early 3D films were shot in black and white, the mid-1950s saw a shift to color films, which were more expensive to produce. Number 23, short films. 3D technology was also used in short films and experimental works, particularly in theme parks and fairgrounds. Number 24, 3D rarities. Some old 3D films were never widely released or have only been rediscovered in recent years through restoration projects. Number 25, and I don't know, I think I'm supposed to pronounce this one, GOG, G-O-G, GOG, 1954, a Cold War sci-fi film. GOG was one of the first 3D films to be broadcast on television, albeit in a heavy edited form. Number 26, 3D gimmicks. Some early 3D films had gimmicks such as actors reaching out of the screen or objects flying toward the audience. Number 27, theatrical equipment. Early 3D films required special equipment in theaters, including dual projectors and special polarized lenses for viewers. Number 28, 3D sound. Some early 3D films experimented with 3D sound, where sound seemed to move around the theater, adding to the immersive experience. Number 29, the end of the 1950s 3D boom. By 1955, studios had overproduced 3D films, leading to audience fatigue and a return to traditional filmmaking. Number 30, The Mask, 1961, a rare horror film in 3D released in the early 1960s, notable for its use of third-dimension special effects. 31, The Stewardess, 1970. This was one of the few 3D films released in the 1970s, and it was in the genre of adult entertainment. Well, that's wild. Number 32, Avatar Influence. Though released in 2009, James Cameron's Avatar revitalized the 3D format, though it was much more advanced than earlier 3D films. That's a million% true. Super advanced compared to those early days of 3D. It's wild. It's wild where 3D has gone and gotten up to. Number 33, 3D films, Golden Age. The Golden Age of 3D cinema lasted from around 1952 to 1955, with dozens thousands of films being released. Number 34, dual projectors. Early 3D films used a dual projector system to show two images, which could sometimes cause misalignment and ghosting effects. Number 35, success of 3D animation. In the 1950s, animation studios also began experimenting with 3D, notably with short films like The Tortoise and the Hare, 1935. I did not know that The Tortoise and the Hare had a 3D version. 1930 or 1935 there. No clue. Anyway. 36. Audience discomfort. Some viewers found 3D film in the 1950s to be uncomfortable, with headaches or dizziness being common complaints. 37. Robot Monster, 1953. This was a low-budget 3D film, often cited for its odd 3D effects and its notorious costumes. 38. Film restoration. Many old 3D films have been restored and re-released in modern times, providing an opportunity to see these classics in a new light. It'd be wild if you could somehow turn classic 3D films, make them modern 3D. That would be really wild. Anyway, 39. Decline of 3D in 1970s. Following the late 1950s, 3D films saw a sharp decline, with few filmmakers using the format until it saw a brief revival in the 1980s. Number 40, Invasion of the Saucermen, 1957. A cult favorite, this film was one of the quirky sci-fi 3D films from the 1950s. Number 41, 3D in documentary films. Some early documentaries experimented with 3D, including The Glass Cage, which explored human life in 3D. Well, that's gotta be cool. I'd like to see that. Number 42, 3D in the drive-in era. Many 3D films in the 1950s were shown at drive-in theaters, where the novelty of the format was part of the experience. Number 43, IMAX 3D. While modern IMAX 3D films use advanced digital technology, the format draws inspiration from older techniques. 44. Special glasses. Early 3D glasses were made of cardboard with red and blue lenses. Yep, that's what I used, which caused color distortion, but were the most affordable option. Number 45, Hondo, 1953. This John Wayne film was one of the early examples of 3D westerns. Number 46, The 3D Racket, 1953. This was a crime film made in 3D that was designed to appeal to the teen audience of the time. I want to see all these, I guess. Yeah. Number 47, Cinematic Technology. Early 3D films helped push the boundaries of film technology, leading to innovations in lenses and projection systems. Number 48, theatrical releases. Many early 3D films were only released for a short time due to the high cost of production and the need for specialized projection equipment. Number 49, revival attempts. Throughout the years, there have been several attempts. Revival attempts. Throughout the years, there have been several attempts to bring 3D cinema back to life, including the 1980s revival and the more recent popcorn, or the more recent boom in the 2000s. Wow, that was awful. Let me do that one again. Revival attempts. Throughout the years, there have been several attempts to bring 3D cinema back to life, including the 1980s revival and the more recent boom in the 2000s. Number 50, 3D in theme parks. Early 3D films also found a niche in theme park Well, guys, thanks for hanging in there with me throughout all my stumbles and also the noise. Sorry about that chime there I got on my phone.